the Mayfo Temple, the American Buddhist Fellowship, is has a large remote digital kind of community, and you both are in different time zones in America. And when we had talked earlier, I don't know, have you all met in person yet? I mean, is this something that will eventually happen, or is this have you been practicing kind of where you are geographically all this time without having met personally?
Sissy, do you want to talk about a little bit about the history, like how this multimedia group is formed and what's the situation before? Maybe you can talk a little bit about the history.
You can go ahead too. It's I know
Okay.
that you probably joined that
Okay.
first.
I'll go ahead then.
Yeah.
So, Master Xingren, he has been giving out lectures for many years, over 20 years, on online, and I think the YouTube channel is established was established back in 2011 or something like that. And back then, he only had one volunteer uh, helped him making videos. And as you can imagine, it's just one person, but if you look into the channel, they made over like 1,000 videos, I believe, overall. So that's a huge amount of work. And um, as we all ages over time, so that person is now senior, so she tries to retire. And the master bought this piece of land, uh, I think 2 years ago or one year ago.
Last year.
Last year, yeah. So he has been very busy on that part, but he also desperately want to find other volunteers who can help him making videos as well as polishing the website, things like that. So I would say, is it around June or around
Uh,
June or July?
yeah, June or July. Yeah, this
Okay.
year.
Yeah, so Sister Wing, she's not here today, but she first met Master and she um, is very devoted into helping the Master. So she just searched around everybody that she knows. She tried to she tried to ask them, hey, do you want to help here? That's how she gathered all of us, and that's how this multimedia group is formalized. And of course, we have recruited over, I would say, 20 people. And as you can imagine, for all the volunteer groups, like 90% of people cannot last for a week or a month, or first meeting they feel, oh, that's not my thing, so they will quit. So like by the end of the day, we have around like 5 or 6 very dedicated volunteers so far that's committed to help Master Xingren to make videos and maintain his website, because there are a lot of work around the website. Every time we have an event or something we want to publish or something we want to change, there will be new posts on the website. And we have 3 different languages, the traditional Chinese, simplified Chinese, and English. So every time we do something, we have to do 3 versions. You can imagine it's a lot of work. Um, and the other thing I want to mention is uh, like he has been always using like personal accounts on Google, and yeah, we like Sissi is the biggest contributor here. She actually has some internal contacts from Google that helped us uh, get approved for nonprofit workspace, which is like permanently free. We really thank Google for providing that kind of things for nonprofit organizations. But it's like 200, I think it's 200 terabytes or something like that. 100 terabytes of workspaces like permanently free. That's a very good thing that allows us to make limitless videos and updates, share across the internet as much as possible. So yeah, I think these are the things we have done so far, and that's a little bit of the history of how we come here, why are we here, and from my personal experience perspective, this experience definitely helped me a lot in terms of, you know, like using my knowledge, using my secular knowledge that I obtained from school and from my work to actually help in the Buddhist community and help the master to materialize his vows. So maybe you know it. He has three vows. First is he want to keep his teaching journey, like he want to give enough lectures, especially online, because that's kind of limitless. When you have an audience at present, at most you have a couple of hundred people, maybe 1,000 if it's a large temple. But when it's online, it's basically limitless. Anybody can watch it anytime. And you never knows where the audience could pop out, like could be worldwide. So the influence is limitless. So that's his first vow. And the second is he wants to form an senior home that can take care of Buddhist practitioners at their terminal years when they need the most help. Because the master over the years, he has observed a lot of sad stories where people are in their terminal stage, but they don't have kids or they're abandoned or yeah, I mean there are poor people everywhere. So he has observed those over the decades. So he made this vow that he want to form this senior home community that has full facilities of doctors, nurses, all the medical supplies, everything. And we also have like Buddhist practitioners that can help each other and encourage each other in their terminal stages. So that's his second vow. His third vow is to um, establish a Buddhist, you can call it college or school that actually teaches, I wouldn't say young people, but anybody, but mostly it's going to be young people that are dedicated to learn more about the Buddhist Sutra and want to become masters or teachers and spread Buddhist teachings in the future. So that's his three big vows, and that definitely uh, touched me personally a lot, and I believe it touched a lot of people. That's why I think that's the root cause of why we want to volunteer here. The multimedia is just a part of the first vow, right? Like how do we help the master, like technologically help him to materialize his first vow? But yeah, there are definitely a second and third that's still pending, and there are a tremendous amount of work to be done, and we are all here to observe them into the future.
Yeah, thank you
I
for
talked a lot, I'll stop.
No, that was wonderful. It was great to have this overview and also these aspirations for the future and just how much effort is in there. And it's wonderful to hear that there are these 5 or 6 volunteers that are very devoted to making these vows come to fruition and work towards sustaining, making sure those online teachings can reach as many people limitlessly as possible. No, that's wonderful. And I know that Keith, you had a hand in the website development and the other multimedia work with the YouTube presence and things like that. And I know Sissi, you also have some editing in your background, and you've also helped with the digital scope. You also, I mean, I would be interested to talk to you about this as well, where you've also helped coordinate the purchase and the transfer of the Buddhist statues for the establishment of the new temple, which we can get into a little bit later. But on the digital element, both of you are engaging with Master Xingren's teachings, and you have a very close relationship with the actual content itself, and so you're actually really analyzing and putting together clips or the make sure the material is accessible, so you're really handling it. And as a result of that, I was wondering, well, we can start with Sissy, but uh having had such a close proximity to the teachings like that, have you found that any teachings in particular have been moving for you, or that certain things have resonated with you more, having been kind of closer with them and interacting with them more?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Thank you for the question, Vincent. So I would say after Master Xingren started looking for new volunteers for digital editing and making the videos for the YouTube channel, I might have made the one of the first few videos, but my background was actually not anything related to video editing at all. I only had like one course of how to use a Final Pro when I was in master in a graduate school. So that was like at least 10 years ago. So when Master Xingren said there was such an opportunity, I didn't want to promise too much, overpromise. I said I'll try. And he's been very, very generous and very kind, and allowing me a lot of time to explore the new editing programs, because I actually ended up using CapCut, and I had to learn everything brand new, even though the idea is very similar, but the program is still different from Final Cut. And of course, that actually took me a whole month actually to make that very first video, because I only had time over the weekend to edit the video and then find the materials and put them together, and then of course add the subtitles. And a little bit challenging aspect of that is you might know that Master Xingren is one of the few, I guess, masters in the US that promote Buddhism teaching in both Chinese and English, and he has most of his, I would say 90% of his videos, teachings with the English subtitle added. I think that's our goal as well, is to expand our audience, not only to the Chinese community and Chinese audience, but also to the English speakers. Actually, that's actually the meaning of American Buddhist Fellowship. So that's like to teach the Dharma in the US. So that's the reason why Master Xingren named this temple like that, American Buddhist Fellowship. Yeah, so once I started helping Master in editing videos, I do, and I think Master Xingren is the very first master that I came so close contact with, even though I only started learning Buddhism very, very recent, like the past 2-3 years, and actually never even tried to find a like a master or like a temple that I wanted to be so involved. I didn't have the aspiration to begin with, but sometimes it just time comes and then the opportunity finds you. So I think that's actually the beauty of Buddhism is once you're really devoted and you're trying to practice, you take it seriously, those precious opportunities find you. I personally experienced that firsthand. So I think Master Xingren, what he taught me the most, I think, is you are not giving up the secular life or your mundane work and your home, your career, your family, just to practice Buddhism. You want to integrate the Buddhist teachings and Buddhist education into your daily life. So they're actually not separated. I think that's what I learned the most from him. There's one short video that we posted on YouTube. It was Master Xingren driving the roller to lay gravel on the ground, the parking lot ground, because we are very short labor and volunteers. So it was actually a very funny video to watch our Venerable Master laying the gravels just over the parking lot. But that's just how he is. When I saw that video, I actually felt sad to begin with. I said, I'm so sorry, master, like you have to do this yourself. You should, most of your time should be spent teaching or spreading the Dharma. And he said, there's no difference. No matter I'm just laying the gravels or I'm teaching on YouTube and spreading the Dharma, there's no difference. So I think that really touched me, that and he's a great example for us to learn and to admire. So I think that's what I learned the most from him, and moved me the most. And of course, like what Keith said earlier, the master's three biggest aspirations, building the senior home, and then purchasing the land, also spreading the Dharma to most people through education. So of course, all of them, those topics could be very tangible, and I think we're gravitated towards that aspiration, and that's why we're surrounding him, and we feel it's a once in a million year, I don't know, lifetime opportunity for us to be so lucky, so fortunate, so blessed to have this opportunity to help the temple to, and in turn to help all the sentient beings as well. In regards to the Buddha statue shipping project I was involved with, so our temple was first established in 2009 in Alhambra, California. So Master Xingren arrived in the US in 2007, just for permanent teaching. Prior to that, he was studying at the University of the West, which is under the Silai Temple, pursuing his PhD in the Buddhism philosophy. Even though after that, obtaining that degree, he went back to Singapore, and he decided that America needs Buddhism the most. So he returned in 2007, promoting Buddhism, and he first started teaching at other different temples, but in 2009 he established his own, which is American Buddhist Fellowship. So our first temple, you wouldn't even call it a temple, it's more like a single family home in Alhambra, a very residential area. So Master Xingren has a great charisma, and he attracted a lot of disciples. So throughout the years, of course, it's a very good thing because he's attracting that many followers, but also a very challenging topic and subject for us too, for the master to host so many disciples, fellows, in the small single family home in Alhambra. And so that's why Master Xingren came up with the aspiration. He wanted a bigger site and can host more disciples and can spread the Dharma even further, so that they can move out of Alhambra site. And his aspiration was answered last year in 2024, when this really nice multi-use land in Covina, California was available for sale, and at a very reasonable price. That's like a 7-acre land. You don't find that anymore in LA County. So that's why we say is when you have a good aspiration, all the Buddhas, all the good energy, everything will help you. So you just don't ever be fearful for a big aspiration. Go ahead and then say your vow, and it will be answered. So that's a great example of how vows and aspiration work in Buddhism as well. So last year he was able to purchase the land. Of course, he became very indebted. I believe it was like over $2 million purchase. Close was $3 million, I believe. And after that, he had to renovate all the facilities inside. To say it's a multi-use, it's actually also a single family home in on the multi-use land. So our current new temple is a renovation of the main like a home. So but Master did such a great job renovating all that into Buddhist use. So we have a Grand Buddha Hall, we have a Medicine Buddha Hall, we also have just a different facility in there. And then down the road in the future, we'll also add the senior home, and also like you can call the Buddhist academy or education center or university on the same land. So this one piece of 7-acre land can serve all of the 3 aspirations of our master. So it's a very auspicious opportunity for everyone involved. So that's why I was also very grateful that I was able to help a master with moving the Buddha statues to the new temple. We purchased the Buddha statues in China from a factory, Buddhist factory. They make all kinds of Buddhism related or religious related statues or tables, furniture, and we fit that into a container. My personal background in the career is actually freight forwarder and shipping. So that's why I say it's like the opportunity finds you, because I know that's when Master was really looking for someone experienced or professional in shipping, in custom clearance. So I was able to help with custom clearance and then arrange the delivery of the container to the new temple, the new site in Covina. And this happened in this past summer, August and September. The 40-footer container was successfully delivered to the site in Covina. Personally, I was a little bit worried throughout the process because it's such a grand project that I was never involved with. We mostly just handle very just furniture you probably see every day, but never like Buddha statues, right? So very great opportunity. But everything, even without planning, the Buddhas, they have you covered. So we always say that you never, once you're becoming a Buddhist, you practice Buddhism, you never need to worry about anything. Everything will be planned perfectly for you. You don't even need to worry one single thing. For example, the container was delivered, was going to be delivered on a Monday. So that's, I think, a week after Labor Day weekend. We were afraid that we don't have enough volunteers to help us unload the boxes, the carton boxes, and then the crates from the container. And I was even talking to Master Xingren that what if, should we wait? Should we hold the container a little bit? Should we hold the trucks a little bit? So it's like a weekend and we have more volunteers. And he said, it's okay. It'll be okay. Just whatever happens is the best plan. So sure enough, because of traffic and delay, everything, the trucks didn't deliver until around 5 p.m. on that Monday. So that's when most volunteers have finished their work. And within just 1 hour of the master's announcement, we had over 30 volunteers coming to help unload all the crates from the trucks. And it took us, I believe, 5 hours. And we achieved by around 10 o'clock, we did we unloaded and then almost unpacked everything. It just took a little bit the second day to finish up the rest. But it's just amazing how even if you worry too much, it's unnecessary. So just don't worry. You know, that's another, I guess, another aspect that Master Xingren taught me is that you never need to worry too much. It'll be okay. I think that's what Buddhism taught me as well throughout just my very short study of the past 2-3 years is I feel more content with my life. And I understand that no matter what the struggles and difficulties I experience, it's meant to teach me something, and I never need to complain or be worried. I think that's the greatest lesson that Master Xingren had taught me.
Thank you, Sissy. That was wonderful to hear, and I really appreciated hearing how there are a few things going on. One is that there's this the mundane life, the everyday life is no different than the Dharma you might experience in a temple, and the teachings in a more like sutra-based or mantra-based or recitation-based format. And you could be teaching, or you could be laying out gravel. You know, it's all spreading that same kind of spirit, so long as it's kind of rooted in that. And then two, like, you know, there's this thing of if your vow is strong enough, even if it's a major vow, and it might seem impossible, or it might seem quite like a quite huge undertaking, make the vow, because if it's a truthful vow, it's a meaningful vow, there's this chance that it could become, it could manifest, it could become what you want. And especially too with a lot of different traditions within Buddhism, a lot of people vow to save all beings, you know, within the Mahayana thing. And you know, is that possible? Well, you know, it might as well make the vow, because, you know, there might be something to it. And also too, the opportunity finding you. I mean, there you are, having a background in freight and clearance and customs clearance and things like that. And this opportunity comes to you, where it's like, well, now it's your turn to turn your everyday life into a dharmic experience where you can help facilitate bringing these Buddha statues in. So it's just a really, it's wonderful to hear how many different ways your life has been inspired and encouraged to have these kind of dharmic elements to it, especially in hindsight. And Keith, I mean, since you've worked also within a very close proximity to the teachings within a digital format, are there things that you found that you've gotten from a particular video that you've worked on, or a particular teaching that you've kind of gotten close to?
Yeah, I think what I want to talk about is also more general, not a specific video, or it's just a general thing that I observed over the months that I have been observe how the master practices and listen to his teachings. So we know there are so many different Dharma methods that Buddha has taught us. And over the years, there are different masters formalize different schools or different temples, different paths, different ways, right? And over the time, what I have observed, especially the followers, sometimes they start to form a doctrinal bias or school-based prejudice, right? And Master Xingren has been very specific that he want to break those barriers. He want to get back to the origin or the original teaching of Buddha, which is help all the beings to enlighten. That's the basic of it. And I have observed him talking over and over about that concept throughout his teachings, and also putting to practice. I think it's easy to talk about a thing. It's very hard to put into practice, but that's what I have observed from him, and what I've heard other people's talking about their observations, right? So anytime any other temples from Los Angeles need help, or maybe it's not from another monk or from another temple, maybe it's just some volunteers, some other practitioners, they need help, they need terminal care, right? Or if there's some events happening in other temples, the master is always very dedicated to help one way or another. He doesn't have any prejudice against, oh, your teaching is different from mine, or your school, your master is different from mine. So I don't want to have any relationship. Like, he doesn't have that kind of prejudice. He's very humble, and he put that into practice, and he lived by his words. That's my observation. And I think that's very rare nowadays because, uh, yeah, I've seen. I'm not gonna call names, but but I've seen that people, talk very loud and morally correct about something, but off the scene they do things differently. They think and talk differently. So I think that's one thing I admire the most about the master, which I definitely want to improve my own practice. Like he's basically my role model here. Yeah, that's just one thing I want to talk about. And I think Sissi has summarized uh, everything else very well, like with all the details, right? She because she's in LA, so I believe she has definitely a lot more in-person observations and things that she experienced. Yeah, so that's just one add-on I want to have about this topic.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, there's something so important about that openness. And it's wonderful to hear that the master is doing Master Xingren is doing that where he's kind of like noticing also to the needs of the American Buddhist Fellowship, but also to recognizing that within the LA area or other temples nearby, that there are needs there, and it's important to help sustain each other. And when it gets into the details of like, oh, well, I don't quite agree with everything that this teaching has, or, I'm not sure if I can, I don't know, I'm not that kind of Buddhist. I do something else. My tradition's different. Well, it's like, well, we can still kind of help towards that effort of sharing the Dharma and also just supporting each other and making sure it all works. And then something that I noticed as well was the a large framework, I think, for the American Buddhist Fellowship is within a Pure Land expression of Buddhism. And I was wondering for both of you, what reciting Amitabha's name what that experience has been like for you, and how it is encouraged or how it is discussed within the Sangha of the American Buddhist Fellowship. Just like how it is more or less instructed, or how more or less it is discussed, but also how it is personally for each of you.
Yeah, so like Keith just said, Master Xingren doesn't have a specific school or sutra or even an ideology that he's focusing on teaching. He always jokes that he's a supermarket. Whatever you want, I have it. I'll provide that to you. If you want Tibetan Buddhism, he's also versed in that. His background, so Master Xingren was born in the early 70s, and he actually became a monk when he was very young, I believe 8 or 9 years old. His parents are both Buddhist practitioners. So it's a very, I think in Buddhism, it's a very auspicious thing that your kids could become a monk. That is like a great fortune for a family. So I think it was he made his parents very proud to become a monk. And he first studied in the South China, a pretty famous Buddhist college in southern China, and then he went to Beijing to study at the Chinese Buddhist Academy. And then by the age of 25, he went to Sri Lanka to further study, I believe it's Theravada Buddhism. And he then went to Singapore to teach and also help the Pujie Temple in Singapore before he came to the US to study, like I said earlier, the Buddhist philosophy. He achieved that postgraduate degree and went back to Singapore to help to build a Buddhist academy. So that was his background. He touched on, he went to a couple of countries and then absorbed all that different genres and schools, Theravada, Buddhist, Tibetan Buddhism, Mahayana, all of that. So it's because he understands there's no one single school, even though actually, ironically, both Keith and I are, that we focus the most on the Amitabha Pure Land practice. But Master Xingren doesn't have a specific school that he only promotes, because he knows every sentient being is different. If you are not in line, or you're not really attracted to Amitabha Pure Land, no matter how much he teaches that, that person will not accept it and then be benefited from it. So he actually, within his disciples and followers, he also has followers that practice Tantric Buddhism, Theravada Buddhism, yeah, all kinds, and not only just within Mahayana. There's also different schools, but he welcomes them with all open arms, and whatever they need, he will teach. So if you look at our YouTube channel, you will see playlists in different emphasis, with different emphasis. So of course there's going to be the emphasis on Amitabha Pure Land, but there are also Kushti, sorry, I forgot the name of the Bodhisattva. They're different genres and aspects. So he's able to cater to all the audience depending on what they need. It's not what he wants to teach. So I think that's a great, I wouldn't say it's a difference, but it's more like his preference. Of course, there's really no right or wrong, but definitely that's his preference, and that's to follow his aspiration. He wants to include audience from a different experience or preferences. So in terms of reciting the Buddha's name, the Amitabha Buddha's name, I personally, with my personal practice is I join a Zoom community. So I think that's another interesting experience is before coming to meet Master Xingren, because I actually live in San Diego, which is about a 2.5-hour drive to his temple. So I actually didn't know about this temple until this year. Even though I studied learning Buddhism like maybe 2-3 years ago, I explore a little bit of other aspects of Buddhism. I even I did some mantra, like Medicine Buddha, because at that time I was just exploring Buddhism. What does Buddhism offer to me? And I landed on Pure Land Buddhism, Amitabha Pure Land Buddhism, through Master Xingren. He's a great master in Taiwan, and his major teachings are on Amitabha Pure Land and chanting the Buddha's name, so you can be reborn in that Pure Land. So before coming to Master Xingren, Master Xingren, I was able to explore a little bit of other masters. So I will say my personal practices are more formed more by the experience or the teachings I had. But I think, like I said earlier, my personal how to implement the Buddhist teachings and education into your daily life is more affected or impacted by Master Xingren, because Buddhism, you can say it's a religion, you can say it's a philosophy. We consider that more like an education. What you learn from school, if it's only just on the textbook and you never implement it into your daily life, it means nothing. It only means something. It only means you're using it, utilizing it, it's being useful until you integrate it into your daily life. So I think my personal practice is I joined a Zoom community to chant Buddha's name for 30 minutes in the morning. We call that the online chanting group. Is going on 24/7. We have volunteers from all around the world to participate and to lead the 30 minutes chanting session. So my session is in the early morning. So that's like a great morning practice for me to begin the day, to start the day. And every Sunday I also help another group. As I say, it's a different. It's involved with different groups to help usually the people involved in that group are they are trying to volunteer for terminal stages, or they are like a hospice care, or even someone just recently passed away, and then we chant the Buddha's name for them, but through Zoom, through the new technology. So those are my personal practices. In the morning, chanting Buddha's name, and also participating in the group to provide a hospice care and the online funeral service for someone, because you're really, I think no matter how beautiful we talk about Buddhism, the teachings and the education, I personally believe the Buddha wants to make us feel not fearful anymore when we're dying at our final days. So chanting the Buddha's name is really gonna help you feel peace and at ease, and you're going to a better place, you're going to a good place, and ideally, don't be stuck in this samsara anymore. You can jump out of this. We do believe in reincarnation, believe in many lives, past lives, and future reincarnation. But ideally, don't be reborn into this anymore. It's pure suffering. But of course, once you achieve, the Buddha always said, we're all Buddhas as well. So once you're enlightened and you could become the Buddha, then you have the mighty power to help as everyone you want as well. So I think, that's my personal practice, and also related to the American Buddhist Fellowship, and how the Master Xingren's teaching had impacted on my daily practice as well.
Thank you for sharing that, and it's wonderful to hear that you had that initial experience with Buddhism a couple years ago, and you've been kind of exploring that, and then you go to the American Buddhist Fellowship, and all those resources that you're interested in because of your previous experiences with Buddhism, you can find those there, and then you can kind of build up on them. And it's really wonderful to hear that as part of this digital space that we're all interacting with, that you can have this 24/7, 24-hour, 24/7 community that you can plug into and do these 30-minute chanting experiences and recitations. So it's a really wonderful element to your practice. So thank you for sharing that. And Keith, I mean, what have your experiences been with the reciting the Amitabha's name and Pure Land practices?
Yeah, thank you, Sissi. First of all, I think Sissi has summarized how we interact with the American Buddhist Fellowship in a practical way, and how it impacted us spiritually very well. So thank you for that. And as Vincent asked the question about my personal experience of my own practice about Buddhism. So just 30 seconds, very quick background information, which I also included in bibliography. So I encountered Buddhist teaching when I was 19 years old. and I'm 36 now, so about 17 years. Not a short period of time, but there are because I mostly learned the teaching from the internet. Like I have never been very attached to a temple or be, physically close to a big group of people that's dedicated into the Buddhist practice. That's why I mostly learn stuff from watching YouTube videos or listen in the early years, listen to MP3 files. I download them into my MP3 players and I just listen to them. So that's how I learned my stuff. And yeah, I can talk a little bit about my own understanding about Buddhism overall, and why do I choose chanting Amitabha name and Pure Land practice uh, as my main practice on a daily basis. So according to Buddhist or Buddha's teachings, in this universe, there are two powers that moves uh, our fortune or our fate into the future. One is the karmic force. One is the vow power. So it's basically a combat between these two powers that move our fate forward or destiny forward. And for most ordinary people or beings, their vow power are very sporadical. They might want to do something today and then they regret tomorrow. So it's very sporadical vow power, which means it's very weak. But in terms of karmic force, it's very determined. It's very strong. That's why somebody could caught a car accident and die. Somebody could caught a terminal disease. These are all karmic force that's very powerful, very strong, very deterministic. And it's all based on the things we did in our past, not just past life, even things you did yesterday might form a result tomorrow, or last second might form a result next second, right? So that's karmic force. And what Buddha tries to teach us first is summarize that karmic force into when it materialized, what it's gonna be like. So there are 6 realms that a karmic force can form, right? And we are just reincarnate within this first 6 realms. And in most cases, the karmic forces are not good. Like it drags us into bad realms, right? So that's the basic theory. And so first of all, we need to understand this fact, right? And with that, now look at ourselves. Like, where are we at this point of life? Where do we want to go next, right? We all will die. Like we have maybe decades of life on this planet, or maybe we can die tomorrow. Nobody knows, right? So with this uncertainty, and with the precious lives and time that we have, what can we do? The only thing we can hold in our hand is the vow power we have for this second, for this minute. That's the only thing we have. Like I said, there are only 2 powers in this universe, vow power or karmic force. If your vow power is not strong enough, then there's a phrase in Chinese, but in English, so you will just flow with the karmic force, basically. That's what most beings are like, right? If they don't practice, if they don't follow Buddhist teachings, that's how their lives will be. But when we look at ourselves, especially nowadays, you know, at least for myself, my vow power is not strong enough to combat karmic forces that I can determine, hey, next life I want to be in this realm, or I want to be this or that. Like my vow power is definitely not strong enough to combat the karmic force that I can choose what I want to be next life. So that is the basic reality, the fundamental reality we're facing right now. And from all the teachings that Buddha has taught us, almost all of them are trying to teach us how to make our vow power more powerful, more like stronger and more deterministic, so that we can combat karmic force. But look at myself, I don't think it's going to happen within the next several decades. So I'm not confident enough that's going to happen. And there's one teaching, which is this Pure Land teaching, that Amitabha Buddha has made his vows. His vow is, I think the most important one to us is even if you only chant his name for 10 times at your terminal stage, he will come to get you, to give you a hand and let you let you reborn or have rebirth in the Pure Land. And when we are in Pure Land, his vow will protect us from the karmic force that all the causes, because karma is basically cause and effect, right? All the causes or the seeds or the bad seeds we have planted in our past lives. So his vow, and he has materialized this Pure Land that will protect us from our past karmic forces, so that we can practice there. We can learn all the Buddhist teachings and become strong over time until we are Buddha ourselves, without retreat, without going back to the six realms and reincarnate anymore. But eventually, when we do become Buddha, it's important that we go back to the six realms and save others inside it. But it's important that your vow power has to be strong enough so that you don't get dragged down by the karmic force, right? So Pure Land is basically a school. It's basically a Buddhism or Buddhist school that we want to learn and practice and grow stronger, become Bodhisattva or become Buddha, so that we can save other beings, just like Amitabha Buddha, just like Shakyamuni Buddha did. So that's my understanding, and that's my practice. That's what I want to dedicate the rest of my life practice. Of course, along the time, like if I can introduce these teachings to other peoples, if I can help other beings in any way, shape, or form, I'm definitely willing to do that. But that's the core fundamental of my understanding about Buddhism and how do I want to practice it. And it's what I believe it's very practical. Like we have a problem. We have a very big problem we didn't even realize. First, Buddha taught us, hey, here's a problem. It's a strong karmic force that's your vow power is just so weak and so sporadical, and as an ordinary being, it's almost impossible, especially in this nowadays. So you have to choose a way that you can still be saved within the precious maybe decades, maybe years, maybe days that we still have left in this life. Because after that, you don't know where you're going to go next life. So yeah, that's my understanding about Buddhism teaching. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Keith. I appreciate you sharing that about your personal practice and just like your understanding. And it's something that I thought was very special about what you had said was that you this reminder that that right now is a very important moment, and this is this moment that we can, wherever you are, however you are, wherever you are, there is this time where like this opportunity of right now, where do I want my karma to take me, or like what kind of seeds can I plant in this very moment, like right now? And the immediacy of that is really helpful for me. So I appreciate you offering that, and and for going over like how you're interpreting things, because it's just helpful to hear, and I hope someone else hearing it can benefit from that as well. I wanted to create a little bit of space for us to talk about upcoming events with the American Buddhist Fellowship, because I know that pretty soon there are a couple of things coming up. One is a temple year-end Thanksgiving dinner, which is happening on November 23rd. And also too, coming up on December 25th, with celebrations kind of running from December 25th all the way to New Year's Day. There is a uh, temple grand consecration ceremony, and I just wanted to kind of go over, like, offer a little bit of space for us to talk about the upcoming uh, things for people to join either in person, I'm assuming, or digitally.
Yeah, definitely. So usually Thanksgiving dinner at the American Buddhist Fellowship is a pretty big event. And this year, of course, after 1 year of preparation, fundraising of the purchasing the land, renovating the new site, bringing all the Buddha statues in, we really appreciated all the volunteers, so many volunteers, hard work for a long time, and everyone that contributed, no matter financially or just in labor, anything they contributed. Master Xingren is greatly appreciative. So that's why this year's Thanksgiving dinner, which will be the Sunday after Thanksgiving, it will be a pretty big event, very grand event. We also treat it like a testing event prior to the grand consecration ceremony happening on December 25th. So far we already have over 100 people registered that they want to join or participate in the Thanksgiving dinner. That'll be an in-person dinner. So Master Xingren definitely welcomes everyone to this dinner and enjoy the new site. And he even invited actually the neighbors. So this is a single family house. So on this, we have actual neighbors, the residential neighbors in the residential area. So he invited our neighbors over as well. So we'll have two hosts. One will be hosting in Chinese and one will be hosting in English to cater to people who don't speak Chinese very well. So that will be the Thanksgiving dinner that will happen within 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. And then at the very year end, we have our Grand Buddha Hall Consecration Ceremony. So even though the Buddhas statues have already arrived in early September, there's usually a ceremony to we call the consecration. Actually, Master Xingren had posted a video about why is a consecration ceremony needed, and I remember his teaching, or it's not the Buddhas need a consecration, it's the people, the followers. The Buddhas are mighty enough, they don't need our blessing. Who are we to bless the Buddha, right? It's almost like a you can call it like it's just a materialized event to announce to the public that this temple is in use, and it's gonna teach, spread the Dharma. So it's more offering like a announcement to the general public. So it's gonna be a very grand, like probably the most grand event that our temple is gonna have. And we're inviting all the venerable masters from all different Buddhist temples in LA County. Actually, I think Master Xingren is also inviting very venerable masters from China as well to participate and host the ceremony. So it's going to be a grand event. Everyone will be, whoever is coming, I'm sure they will feel so blessed and so happy. We call it the Dharma happiness, right? You're going to achieve that just to when we're witnessing all that auspicious blessings. You're going to feel that and feel the energy as well. And the Master Xingren's goal after the ceremony started in January. He's going to start teaching and hosting weekly events, I believe every Sunday. So because of the land purchasing renovation in the past year and a half, and of course preparing for the consecration ceremony, Master Xingren hasn't released a lot of the videos. Of course, also because the Buddhist temple, our new site is being renovated. We didn't have a space to host all the weekly events. But from January next year, after the ceremony, we're going to resume all of that, including chanting Buddha's name, reading sutras, and then Master Xingren is going to also record more teachings on and help us better understand Buddhist sutras and anything, like it's like a supermarket, right? Anything the public needs. He will try to teach that. So that's a little bit of brief introduction of the upcoming events and the Master Xingren's upcoming plan to teach and host events at the new Buddhist temple in Covina, or American Buddhist Fellowship.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for offering some details about that. It does sound like this is just a very momentous year end for the community, and then it also just sets in motion what's going to come in January and beyond, which is like these weekly events that can resume because of all this construction and renovation that's been going on. And in case anyone's interested, to access some of these details online, there is the meifotemple.org, which is MEIFO temple.org, and there are some details about these events that are coming up, how to donate and how to donate, and also some a whole inventory of teachings that you can click on that links to the YouTube channel. So if in case anyone's interested, I want to direct anyone to that website. Keith, is there anything that you'd want to add?
So, but first of all, we have a new website. It's just meifu.org.
Okay,
There's no
great.
temple there. Yeah, that's new website that we developed.
Oh, great. Okay, perfect.
We want a correction there. And also, thank you, Sissi, for summarize all that very well. Just one more thing. So as you can imagine, there are so many events and so many different new things that's coming into the new year. So we will need a lot of volunteers. So we encourage anybody that want to help either on site or online. This multimedia group, we need to grow it as well, as the master will express more teachings and record. We'll have recordings. We need to do subtitles, both Chinese and English. So that's going to be a lot of work. So we need a lot of volunteers. And we want to use this opportunity, and thank you, Vincent, for inviting us here. We want to use our platform to advocate a little bit as well here. Anybody that want to be a volunteer, we are like, you are very welcomed, either on site or online. Yeah. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Sissi and Keith, thank you so much for speaking with me today. This was such a treat to speak with both of you, and to learn more about the American Buddhist Fellowship, and to learn about also your personal practices. I really appreciate your your openness to sharing, and also too, I mean, just very excited for your whole community. I mean, just to have this grand consecration ceremony happening on the 25th of December, and all of the things that are coming up from that, as well as the Thanksgiving dinner. But also too, I mean, just this way that this community works and operates, where it has this supermarket resource availability for everybody, and having this digital reach where it can be for anybody out there. The teachings, when they're online, they can be, like we talked about earlier, they can be accessed whenever by whoever, and on everyone's schedule. So it's just a wonderful thing for accessibility. And then too, just to echo that too, I mean, it does sound like this group of 5 to 6 volunteers that kind of help with this can use some help. So if anyone is interested, by all means, please do so. But thank you all so much again for joining me.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Vincent.
thank you for the opportunity.